Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order, and I'll start off by apologizing for being a few minutes late. Our previous meeting ran a little long. I'll begin with our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation, of the Three Fires Confederacy, and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island, and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. We'll now have a moment of silent reflection followed by the playing of our national anthem. Please stand if you're able to for the playing of the national anthem. Okay, if we can get an adoption of the agenda for the June 10th, 2025 regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Riccio-Spagnolo, support by Councillor Reno, all in favor, and that carries. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? There being none, an adoption of the minutes from a regular meeting of council held May 27th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Burns, support by Councillor Riccio-Spagnolo, all in favor, and that carries as well. And so we'll move on to our mayor's comments. So just a few, as hopefully everybody in this room knows, we just had the LaSalle Strawberry Festival, and it was another amazing event. And we cannot thank our staff enough for the many, many hours put into planning and executing a very successful event. We had rides, lots of different entertainment, delicious food, an epic strawberry eating contest with a person who won for the 10th consecutive year, believe it or not. And I just really want to thank everybody for coming out and being a part of the event. Attendance this year was over 28,500 people. It's a lot of people in our municipality in a weekend, and like I said, it takes the entire team to be able to pull off an event like this. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again in 2026. The LaSalle Senior Active Living Expo for 2025 is coming up on Wednesday, June 18th. It's from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Event Center at LaSalle Landing. It's a free market-style event for the 55-plus community. You'll connect with a wide range of local organizations, services, and resources, including health and wellness, community clubs and associations, social support services, and more. It's a fantastic opportunity for seniors to explore what's available in the community and ask questions and make meaningful connections. And finally, this month's Monday with the Mayor is June 23rd from 9 to 11 a.m. Come visit me here at the Civic Center. You don't need an appointment, just drop in, give them your name, and if you're unable to come during that time, just send us a request and we'll meet at a different date. That is all I have for today for Mayor's comments. Moving into our public meetings and our hearings, there are none. So we'll go right into our presentations and delegations, and the first one is a very exciting one. We have, I think, Chief, are you going to present this for us? Yeah? If you come on up.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. Today we are really excited to present an award, a prestigious award to one of our firefighters, Craig Lucier. With this award, the province sends out a reading, and I'd like to read that to you and the members in the audience. In 1980, the Government of Canada accepted the recommendation that national awards in the form of medals be established to recognize long and outstanding service in the high-risk professions providing public security. The first of what was envisioned as a family of medals, the Police Exemplary Service Medal, was created on the 12th of August, 1983. The second, the Corrections Exemplary Service Medal, was established on the 11th of June, 1984. The profession of the members of Canada's fire service, more than most, is truly one of the long periods of tranquility punctuated by moments of stark terror. The quiet times are dedicated to training and fire prevention. Those moments of terror are all in the line of duty. Far too frequently, we sit in awe watching a spectacular fire without thinking about the people whose duty it is to fight the blaze or what is really involved. Nor do we consider that fire is an unpredictable and unforgiving enemy. When such things are considered, the fire service is a natural candidate for a service medal comparable to those already established. In mid-1985, the Government of Canada accepted the proposal for the creation of a service medal for all full-time and volunteer members of the numerous components of Canada's fire service. The design of the medal incorporates crossed axes, a hydrant, and a stylized Maltese cross, an internationally recognized symbol of the fire prevention community. Both are superimposed on a maple leaf, the standard background symbol of Canadian honors. The red of the ribbon represents fire. The gold, common to all exemplary service medals, represents the quality of the service honored. The Fire Service Exemplary Service Medal honors members of the recognized Canadian Fire Service who have completed 20 years of service, 10 years of which have been served in the performance of duties involving potential risk. If we could have Craig come forward, please. While Craig is coming forward, if I may just speak from the heart a little bit. Craig is someone who I consider a dear friend, a brother, and a great team member. You can tell by the people here, he has a lot of respect. He's seen a lot, we've seen a lot together, but like he's a mentor, he's a good teacher, he's done a lot of things for us, but he leads the association as a union president and has been doing that for a long time, and he does a great job.
So I just briefly want to say on behalf of council how proud we are to be able to do something like this and to represent, to recognize someone who's been part of our community for so long. I've had the pleasure of knowing Craig long before he was on fire, and he has been always a very caring individual, and he's always been passionate about our community. And so on behalf of council and our residents of the town of LaSalle, we thank you for your years of service. I would like to invite all members of the Fire Association to come forward, please, for a photo, if you could. We were just about to say that. Need the family. Thank you, everybody, for coming for that presentation. It always means a lot when so many people from the department show up for it, and it's a great way for us to start our meeting, so thank you. We're going to move on to our staff reports and correspondence for council's action, with item 1 being our 2025 AMPS bylaw update. And we will have our legal counsel, Mr. Jadal, take that.
Thank you, and good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. I'm here just to briefly walk through the highlights of the proposed update to the town's administrative monetary penalty system, which we know as AMPS. The purpose of this update, it is just to inform you, this is not a wholesale rewrite of the existing bylaw, but it's more of a refinement from a practical and procedural standpoint. We've had 6 years now since we first implemented AMPS that we drafted back in 2019. And so we have the benefit of having that lived experience with it, both from an enforcement standpoint and also administratively. So the proposed revisions kind of reflect that reality. So I'll kind of just touch on the 3 main points that I raised in my report, once again, very briefly, and then we can go on to the next steps. So the first main area is that we are expanding the bylaws that are designated under AMPS. So we've added 8 new ones, including noise, garbage, fence. There's a handful more in there that's all in the report in detail. These bylaws are already all enforceable under their existing framework, but bringing them under AMPS will give staff more streamlined, flexible, and immediate compliance tools, which is the whole purpose of AMPS. It allows us to issue penalties that are due and payable up front, reduces the time administrative burden in terms of enforcement and collection of those fines. It also allows council to remain removed from the process, the whole back and forth that sometimes happens when we're involved with bylaws. So that's what's nice about the AMPS process, both from your perspective and also the staff perspective. In terms of the second main area, it is the procedural improvements that are identified in this revision. So this better reflects how AMPS has come to be administered on a day-to-day basis with staff. Since 2019, we have internally developed a number of standardized workflows in terms of the screening reviews and hearing reviews, how we process the penalties. So these updates to the bylaw have been made in consultation with council services who do the bulk of the heavy lifting of the administration, but also with influence from our bylaw enforcement division, because we have dealt with her directly and she's the one that has to issue the penalties under here. So the new revised bylaw reflects input from both of those departments. So that way, both the public and the staff have clear, consistent expectations as we administer this. And then finally, the final portion that we touch on in the report is just the formatting, structural changes to make it more readable and more manageable in terms of updates. So whereas it used to be even more cumbersome than it is now, we had a whole bunch of bylaws listed on the first page. Then if we added more, we'd have to have an ever expanding, page limit there. We moved them all to a schedule to make updates in the future simpler. And now we've also had a new schedule inputted for each designated bylaw. So that way, as those bylaws get updated over time, all we're doing is going to change the schedule. We're not going to change the whole bylaw. So it's just more of a, it makes things easier to correct going forward for both the enforcement officers and also for staff, for council, for the public to read. So in terms of next steps, the new bylaw is on the agenda tonight for your approval. And if it is approved, it will repeal the existing AMPS bylaw and designate all these new ones under our current version. On that note of it being on the agenda, I just want to point out that there was, I had one omission from the bylaw as it reads currently. So it states in tonight's bylaw that we're repealing bylaw 8289, which was the original AMPS that we created, and 8466, which was one of the amendments. We've actually amended it another time as well, 8830. So I'm going to ask, whether it's cleared up with the clerk's note, or I haven't talked to Jennifer about this yet. So she's hearing this for the first time. I know she likes that. How we're going to address that at the bylaw portion of the night, but we're basically adding a reference to one additional bylaw where AMPS was amended that we're going to repeal, so it's no longer there. So that's what we're looking for tonight. We will continue to work closely with council services and bylaw enforcement to continue to support with this with the AMPS program and make any future improvements as needed. Like I said, Roxanne and Jennifer and her team were both significantly influenced what went into this tonight. And also our paralegal, Aaron, was instrumental in putting this all together for me in terms of the legal side. So that is what went into tonight's report, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm not sure if this question is for you, Dom, or for finance. We always look for people to do the right thing first, and this should be kind of a last resort to have to go to AMPS and have to find someone. In the last year, how much money has this brought in? I'd like to think none. I'd like to think that nobody parks in the wrong place. I'd like to think that nobody does the wrong thing. But what type of income has this brought to the town?
I think I can speak generally to that, in that has not been a substantial income driver, and that there isn't. Let me back up. The approach is still the same and consistent with how it's historically been, where we try to obtain compliance first, and we work with the residents to hopefully achieve that. The majority of penalties that have been issued so far have been for parking violations, and these are the $30 variety. So again, these are rather nominal in amount. There's been a few that I know that have come to me through the screening process where there's been handicap parking or loose dogs or dog off the leash, where those are, you can get into $300 kind of range penalties for that. But those are few and far between. So in terms of what that number is, I can't quantify because I don't know the total number. I just know really what comes through me. But I have a rough idea. So it's not a substantial number yet, because again, we're usually obtaining compliance without having to go that route.
And that's fine. I mean, what I want to hear is that we still have a great community that is complying and, may not have realized they made a mistake, and we're giving them the chance to comply. That's what I want to hear anyway, so thank you very much.
Councillor Spagnola.
Thank you, through you. Just a question, maybe to Dawn. Will the bylaws continue to be communicated through our social media? I do get residents that ask, sometimes they're not familiar with our bylaws, we'll send them to our website. However, will you be updating, like, reminders on, like, the dog leash, the fire regulations and things like that, just so then residents can be formally, have that information on hand?
I can help with that one. So we have started to do a lot more of that recently. We're starting to work on an education campaign with strategy and engagement. And we've started to insert some of those inserts into our quarterly tax billings, as well as update some signage and work on different information campaigns through the website. So we will be looking at doing more of that as strategy and engagement has the time to help us.
Any other questions or comments? No? Recommendations at the report of legal counsel dated May 21st, 2025 regarding the 2025 AMPS bylaw update be received, and that council repeal the existing AMPS bylaw, and I'm hoping I'm getting everything right here, you may have to tell me if I'm missing, 8289 as amended by bylaw 8466, and adopt the revised AMPS bylaw 2025-055 at the appropriate stage of this council meeting. Is there something to add to that?
Yep, so in terms of the amendments, there you noted 8466, which is correct, and I'm also adding 8830, which is the other amending bylaw for AMPS. So we're repealing there should be 3 total, the original and 2 amendments. So if you need those numbers afterwards, I can help fill you in, or I can just repeat them again now. Okay, so original bylaw 8289, amending bylaw 8466, and amending bylaw 8830. Those are the 3 that we're looking to have repealed and replaced.
Okay. Council? Councillor Burns? Moved by Councillor Burns, support by Councillor Reno. All in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 2 are a memorandum of understanding between the town of LaSalle and the LaSalle Pickleball Association. Our Director of Culture and Recreation, Ms. Finero.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Worship and members of council. The report before you this evening is to bring forward a recommendation to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the LaSalle Pickleball Association for exclusive use of 3 of the 6 pickleball courts that are located at LaSalle Landing. This would be a pilot project for the 2025 season, with the association using those courts Monday to Friday from 6 to 8 p.m., beginning June 16th until October 31st. Offering this option would give the association the opportunity to offer structured programming for their members, including skill development, league play, and rated matches. And it mirrors how we support our other organized sports associations, such as minor hockey, figure skating, soccer, and baseball, to name a few. It would help to promote the sport within LaSalle, and it would also connect us to the broader pickleball community. In preparing this report, administration did conduct a review of practices in other municipalities in terms of offering exclusivity, and we found that there was a variety of approaches in how fees were charged, with some municipalities charging an hourly fee, some charging a seasonal flat rate, some charging associations per player for the season, and some requiring capital contributions towards the cost of the courts in order to have the exclusive time. This is the first time that we would be introducing a pickleball fee for the use of outdoor courts. And so we are recommending that the capital reinvestment fee of $5.90 be charged, which would amount to a seasonal fee of $1,280 for the association. This is in keeping with the rates that we found in other municipalities. So by comparison, the town of Tecumseh charges approximately $4,000 for the season. They have 12 courts and significantly more hours. And the town of Amherstburg is charging $2,000, and again, significantly more hours for the season. So it is in keeping or comparable with what's being done elsewhere. I'd also want to point out that the LaSalle Pickleball Association has contributed $28 towards windscreens. which has benefited all users of the pickleball courts at LaSalle Landing. And also, as part of this partnership, the association would agree to lead 4 learn and play sessions for our seniors' active living programs. They're also going to participate in the Seniors Expo, and they have several charity tournaments planned that they would be renting use of the indoor space at the event center, with the proceeds going to support local charities. Lastly, I would just like to point out that this is a pilot project, so we would review it at the end of the season and make any necessary adjustments or recommendations, and we would bring those to council before any future sessions are planned. And that concludes my report. I'm available should there be any questions on that.
Thank you very much. I think one clarification, because I saw a lot of eyes kind of go big when you made the comment about the cost of the fencing. The windshield, the winds. So it's 2,800, not 28,000. I just wanted to correct that.
My apologies.
There were everyone in the audience going, wait a second, we did what? So I just wanted to
2,800, my apologies.
Members of council, do you have any questions or comments regarding Deputy Mayor Capana?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, as a former LaSalle minor hockey guy, until my kids decided they didn't want to play, the comments that have been made by our leader are exactly true. It is good that we treat everyone the same, the best we can, to make sure that we can enhance sport within the community of the town of LaSalle, and that we brand ourselves as everything that we're doing right now. I agree that it's good to treat everybody equally, to expand the sporting that we're doing, and make sure that the newest and most upcoming sport has a place within our community, and to expand it such that we can move forward and see LaSalle pickleball become as large as LaSalle minor hockey, and eventually maybe they'll take over the rinks and arenas and things like that as well. But I'm very appreciative of the folks that came to us, asked, cajoled, poked, kept up going, because I say this to all of their community groups, this is how you do it. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for the report, and when it's appropriate, I will move the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Reno.
Very similar to Deputy Mayor Akpada, this is the way you do it. Not complaining on social media about council or about administration, but being positive, being part of a change, asking for something that's reasonable, and making it happen. Ever since the association has grown in the last year, everything that your president has done and everything that you have done has been above board. And yes, I've gotten messages from you guys. Yes, I've gotten emails, and that's the way to do it. And thank you for your professionalism in advancing what you're doing. When I first read the report, I was a little concerned that we were going to give an exclusive to the Pickleball Association, because there's always people that want to come out and play. But when I saw that it was 6 to 8, it made me happy, because it allows you to advance your sport, to train your people, to really build something in what I consider, or what people have told me, really aren't the peak hours anyway. The peak hours, 10 a.m., if you were looking to take over half those courts, it might have been a problem. But I think you've been very respectful in the time that you've asked for, and everything. And like I said, Deputy Mayor Akpada put it right on the head. Well done. This is the way you do it. Thank you. And I will support his motion.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you to the association as well as to our team for working together and coming up with this great idea. I've had the opportunity to meet with the new president of the Pickleball Association, and I'm very excited about the things that are coming to the town of LaSalle, and being able to work together to bring some exciting things to our residents who are looking for something to do in our community. I realize that this is only a kind of seasonal approach we're taking right now. I'm assuming we're going to reevaluate this come fall, and then determine if we get to eventually build new courts, we would have a different agreement coming in place at that time for that facility, correct?
Thank you for the question. Yes, that is stated in my report as well, that given the state of the courts and that they were converted from tennis to pickleball, that's sort of where we established this rate from. But certainly if we build new courts and we are working to have more exclusive use, we would look at a different rental rate at that time and bring that back to council.
Sounds good. Well, thank you. Since there's no other questions or comments, it's already been moved and supported, so I will call the question. All in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Item. Okay, moving into item I, our consent agenda, there's 4 items there. Does anyone want to pull anything out and speak to it specifically? If not, we can move them together. Move together. So, I would like myself to pull one out, so I don't know how we do that in this scenario. The correspondence 3A. Okay, so we'll pull 3A out, and if we can get a motion to receive 1, 2, and 4, moved by Councillor Renaud, support by Councillor Burns, all in favor? That carries. So item 3, I don't know if you had a chance to read only a little bit about Bill 5, but I think this is something that needs a little bit more attention, and so I would like if council would consider supporting it, not just receiving it at this time.
I make a motion to support it.
Support. Deputy Mayor Capata? Any questions or comments? So support and circulate. All right, all in favor, and that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Item J, we have 2 items. Item 1 and 2, County Council highlights and accessibility advisory committee meeting minutes. Any questions on either of those 2 items or comments? There being none, if we get a motion to receive. Moved by Councillor Burns, support by Councillor Renaud, all in favor, and that carries. Questions and statements by council members? Yeah. I did together, if that's okay. That's fine. Okay. Questions, comments? None? Okay, I have a couple. So, first thing I'm going to start with is related to strong mayor powers. As we've spoke about several times now, the strong mayor powers came into effect May 1st of 2025, and at the last couple occasions I've indicated that I will be delegating that authority back, and so that is what I'm doing this evening. So pursuant to the powers extended under the strong mayor powers, I hereby delegate the following. Item 1, to the Chief Administrative Officer, the power to determine the organizational structure of the town and the power to hire, dismiss, or exercise any other prescribed employment powers with respect to the head of any division. And item 2, to Town of LaSalle Council, the power to hire or dismiss the Chief Administrative Officer. And I will be signing those papers following the meeting. Okay? Also, I wasn't sure if we could release this, but I've been given the thumbs up, so we are very excited that this year the town of LaSalle will be hosting a Canada Day event. Promotions will begin this week for our new event, and the new event will be taking place at the LaSalle Landing and the Event Center, so using the Event Center as well as the new LaSalle Loop. We will be having food trucks, live entertainment, and a drone show to top off the evening, and it'll be from 5 to 11 p.m. So stay tuned on our social media and our website for full details, but we are very excited to have our own celebration here in our community this year. No other comments, questions? Notices of motion? So we did have a closed session. So at a closed meeting earlier this evening, council received information as it relates to the compensation of non-union employees. The following is a recommendation from that meeting. 1, that the report of the Chief Administrative Officer dated June 5th, 2025, CAO-08-2025, regarding the 2024 for the 2025 non-union compensation review results be received. 2, that the presentation report from Marianne Love from ML Consulting be received. 3, that the recommendations contained within the report based on the work of ML Consulting regarding the banding, market adjustment, and proposed ban rates which maintain the current policy of the 75th percentile be approved effective January 1st, 2025. 4, that council direct administration to apply the annual adjustment to the non-union group salaries match the increases approved within the QB bargaining unit for fiscal years 2025 to 2028. 5, that council direct administration to adjust and amend the non-union benefits, non-compensation related, to align with benefits offered to various collective agreements within the town of LaSalle. And 6, that a subsequent non-union compensation review be commenced so that it can be brought to council for consideration in fall of 2028 with an implementation of changes, if any, for January 1st of 2029. Councillor Reno, Councillor Riccio Spagnolo, all in favor, and that carries unanimously. Thank you. Bylaws. So we have 3 here. It's that the following bylaws be given a first, second, third reading and finally passed. And that's 2025-054, a bylaw to authorize the use of internet voting, the use of vote counting equipment, and advance voting for the 2026 municipal and school board elections. 2025-055, a bylaw to establish an administrative monetary penalty system adopted. I wrote this really fast, now I can't even read my own writing. Adopted as amended to include the reference to bylaw 8830. And 2025-056, a bylaw to amend the subdivision agreement with 100048263 Ontario Limited. Councillor Reno, Deputy Mayor Kakpada, all in favor? And that carries unanimously. Confirmatory bylaw 2025-057 be given a first, second, third reading and finally passed. Moved by Councillor Riccio Spagnolo and Councillor Burns, all in favor? And that carries unanimously. There are scheduled meetings below. Thank you for joining us in person and online. Have a great night.